All right. Oh, is that rolling? Oh, man. Hello, all of you fine people, you beautiful mess. Grant's making me double nervous. He has a phone behind the camera right now, and he's just inching closer to me with every word that I say. I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at. This is what... It's extremely ominous, and it's very scary. But yeah, hello, all you wonderful people. Thank you for watching this video. I think it's been a pretty good one thus far, but the reason I'm making this video today is because Grant, why am I making this? We made a short film about 4 months ago about a coffee shop here in Birmingham. They have an awesome story. Tyler and Anna Nash are the sweetest people ever. I'm gonna walk you through how we managed the edit of that video. It's a 14-minute short doc, so a lot of footage was acquired, and we kind of had to whittle it down. So I thought that might be slightly interesting to you people. If it's not, I'm so sorry. You don't have to watch it if that's not interesting to you, but like for views' sake, like if we're ever gonna get sponsored by Milanote, we really need views. So even if you don't wanna watch this video, please just leave it on, watch it in its entirety, and then come back and get your phone or your laptop or something. And then you can watch whatever you want, like a little bit later, okay? Thank you guys. Okay, so the first thing we did, we got all of our footage, brought it into Premiere, and we organized it. I think that's probably the most important thing. And as you look into this project file, this doesn't look very organized. It's because it's not, but the footage itself really is. When you do get into like in the thick of the edit and you get to a point where you really need something, you know exactly where it is at all times. So the first step here that we did was separate all of our footage out into these little bins here. So we have old photos, we have our interview, and then separated it into B-roll. And even in those bins, we have different scenes of B-roll, so drone stuff, and then the house in the morning, like them making coffee and like stuff at the actual Innova shop. You separate that out, so like if you're getting into it and you're editing it and you need a shot from their house in the morning, you know exactly where that is at all times. I like to make sequences with all the different B-roll scenes, so you can go in there, look, and you can mark it up. So interior Innova, you separate all your different scenes in the sequence, so it's like I know where everything is. So if I need a little picture of the logo of Innova, boom, go right, found it immediately. Let's say I need Anna Nash outside cutting flowers, because we all need that at certain points. You're just gonna come in here. Oh, there it is. It's perfect. Yeah, just organizing footage is important. Let me get a sip of my coffee, because I'm a video person and we drink coffee. It's a thing. That's another thing I'll say. If you're making videos and you're not drinking coffee, I just don't think you. Is that mean? Is that a mean joke? Should I not make that joke? I just don't think you have it in you, man. I don't think you'll do it. I say quit while you're ahead. And if you're not ahead, I would say still quit. Because coffee tastes good, mainly. It's the main thing. Where am I? Where am I in the video? Okay, yeah. Okay, so you organized your footage. The next step that I like to do, and I think is pretty necessary, and you're not gonna like it. I think you really need to watch every single second of footage that you have, just so you really know like what you're working with. I start with the interview. You'll see I have a sequence that's a full interview. And what I do is I go on through it, and I put these little markers here every time they say something. Even like if they have something that's like a good laugh, or like Anna makes a joke, especially in the interview, you never know how you can use any sentence that they say. And you'll see in the next stage, it's important. If I'm getting to I'm telling you, man, Birmingham is so rude sometimes. Put in the comments, something. I don't know what you should put in the comments, honestly. Whatever you want to put in the comments. Is this okay if I do this? Is that wrong? I think that's wrong. There's a lot of calf showing, a lot of ankle. If this is making you uncomfortable with the amount of ankle that's showing right now, please feel free to just continue watching this. The next stage, the next thing I like to do, is start determining different scenes. You know, as you went through your interview, you marked it up. You should know this pretty well at this point. You know where all the things are. You kind of have a grasp on what the story could be. I make this sequence called interview scenes, and that's where I come in and I take this full interview and start cutting it up and like see what we actually have. And you see, I'm marking these as well. So I come in and I have my scenes. And just so you know, this is a good intro to who they are, and then this is, you know, the initial hardship, like what started their journey. And I have the whole scene played out. If I wanted every single bit of information in like a cohesive manner, I have that scene right here, and I can just copy and paste that into the edit. And it really it does save time later. You have the certain beats, and you see what's important, what's not so important, what can be cut, and what is absolutely needed. I think that starts here. You have your interview scenes, you have a fully marked interview, right? Then I think the next step is to start putting together a radio edit. A radio edit is just like the simplest form of your edit. Like, and I not a lot of people treat it like this, but like I treat it as just tell your story, right? No music, no real B-roll. That doesn't mean like scenes hanging out with them. Like, I think that comes into play in the radio edit. Like, it's really just telling the story without any help other than like what strikes are loud. I don't think you have to like worry about how long this radio edit gets. I think you just take your interview and you can just see what story you're able to tell. And in the next phases, you can add your B-roll, sound effects, and music and all that stuff, which are elements that help you tell the story. But I don't think if you have a full grasp on what the story is through your radio edit, then you're unable to do those next steps well, if that makes sense. Or at least me. You may be just really good at it. And, you know, if you are, that's fantastic. But for me, I really just have to take this stage and take my time and figure out what certain moments are so that we can emphasize them later. And when we move on to the skeleton edit, you'll see like when you add B-roll and you add sound effects and music and all that stuff, it's easier to take the time of this video down because you can spend less time on moments and kind of create an atmosphere that shows what certain moments are, instead of them just telling you we were sad. You can kind of make the audience just feel that with other elements. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That makes me okay. So let's look at the skeleton edit. And the skeleton edit you'll see is much shorter than our radio edit. So our radio edit, I said the original one was about like 25, 26 minutes. Maybe there's a cut that was even 30 minutes. This one ended up, our last version of the radio edit was 1946. Our skeleton edit is 1141. So it's horrible. It's scary and I hate it, and it's horrible because you latch on to like certain moments in the radio edit. They're like, we need this. This is so meaningful. This is great. We need it. But really the goal here is to just kill everything that isn't extremely needed. Yeah, like I said, it's horrible because when you get to this stage, you think that everything is needed and you can't even imagine cutting one bit of it. But you really have to be brutal here. If certain moments drag a little bit, if there's anything that gets a little bit not very engaging, it has to be gone because it has to be clear. But it also has to be concise, right? So it's really tough. I hate this part because you do feel like you're just like murdering the story, but you're not. You're ultimately helping. And then if you get like 2 days removed and then watch back through it, you'll see it's actually much more engaging in this light. Because like, you know, a good story is a story that keeps the audience like in it, like trying to figure it out, trying to feel the things that they're feeling. And if you just tell them what they're supposed to be feeling, then they usually don't. If that makes sense. I don't know if that's clear, but if you just say like, man, we were pretty mad right now, and then you have them tell the audience why they were mad, the audience may be like, yeah, they should have been mad, as opposed to like if you take, hey, we were mad, and then you show certain things and you have the right music that makes people feel that way, they actually start feeling mad with them, which is much more powerful. I've added 2 steps. You know, you can separate these 2 steps into 2 different timelines. Like a skeleton edit, and at its simplest form is just like just like killing parts of the story that you don't think are entirely necessary. It's just making the most concise version of the story possible. I also, while I'm doing this, I start adding some B-roll, I start adding some cutscenes, some title cards, just because I think this is when the real shaping of the story starts to happen. And so once you're comfortable with how that feels, I usually just like leave this timeline because I want it. I want to always refer to this edit right here, and then I take it into a timeline I have dubbed actual edit, and so that is shockingly our actual edit. This is our final edit. That's when music comes into play. That's where sound effects comes into play. That's when you start coloring. This is pretty fun because once you've gone through your skeleton edit, you've gone through your radio edit, you should really know what the feeling is, what you're trying to say, what they're trying to say, what they were going through. You should really have a good grasp on the story at this point. And then you could just play around and see, like, am I feeling the right things at certain moments? And if not, you gotta change the music. You gotta add some sounds, or you gotta take some more time. Like, you gotta let this scene breathe a little bit, or you gotta speed this scene up a little bit. That's what this actual edit is. And I think along with this is showing people like this edit and be like, all right, what do you think? And you ask them to be brutally honest. Some people are too nice, like myself. I would never tell anyone that anything's wrong with anything. You gotta find those people that'll tell you like, hey, this is dragging a little bit. I don't really know what's going on here. Like, as you go into your actual edit, it's longer than the skeleton edit because like you need certain scenes to breathe a little bit. You're adding more moments away from the interview. You've added a little bit more time with them to kind of get to know them and be friends with them. You know, you kind of like lay certain scenes in certain places to see if it works. You know, I think that's at its simplest form, that's editing. But I think that can't really start happening until you've done the work on the front end in the edit. And I mean, Johnson's just gonna crumple his what are you eating? I don't think you're able to like really do the skeleton edit or the actual edit like very well unless you've done the work on the front end, like getting to know your subjects, getting to know what the story actually is, getting to know what footage you've actually captured. If that doesn't happen, then you're unable to reach the really fun part of editing, which is like just moving and grooving and things are working and it's awesome. You can't really make that happen unless you know what you're working with and really have a good grasp on everything. Yeah, Grant, is there anything I'm missing when it comes to editing?
Sounds great.
He approves. And when Premiere crashes, you just move to DaVinci. This was fun. I had a fun time talking to you guys about this. I love editing. Grant loves editing. I hope you do too. I hope this was a little bit helpful. If it wasn't, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna just end this video now. It's done. Over. Thank you. I very much appreciate you watching this, and let us know what else we should do. All right, bye. I think that went well.
Next time. Dude, I had no idea you could hear the crumpling.
You probably couldn't. I just wanted to. I like saying your name in these.
Well, I like being involved in them. Maybe I'll walk behind the video one day.
Please do. I like the off-screen just like Johnson Dooley.
Okay.
But like, you know, like as the series goes on, we just like show more and more.